Truthfully, I've never made a video like this before on any of my YouTube channels. And I'm not quite sure who the audience for it will be, or if there will be any. It's directed toward people thinking about suicide, or if it's for people dealing with the aftermath of the suicide of somebody that they care about, or if I'm just making it for me to sort out the emotions that I'm feeling right now. Today is Tuesday the 25th, and this morning I attended the funeral of a friend of mine. She committed suicide last Monday morning around 8 a.m. I had known her for quite a while. She was a very funny, ornery, opinionated, caring, tell it like it is kind of person. She had been in a car accident a number of years ago, and like myself, since then had been experiencing chronic pain due to back whiplash down her back and in her neck, and sleeping problems that developed stress and anxiety, finally depression, all things that I'm familiar with, and things that, from what I've gathered over the last 15 years or so, are common once somebody starts suffering from daily pain. But nobody had any idea that she was considering this. On top of that, she had just recently lost her job. So in the condition she was in, she would have had to go out and start looking for a new one. And so she chose a route that I never thought she would have been capable of to escape the troubles in her life. And I'm not quite sure how to deal with it or how I'm feeling about it. As a Christian, I have no doubt she's in a better place now, and that I'll see her again. I go by the designation Christian. I was raised in a Lutheran church. I'm a member of a Lutheran church, but I'm not big on organized religion. My belief is Christianity, and I think the minute you label yourself by a denomination, you're already breaking the first commandment: "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." So if I said I was a Lutheran, but it's probably the dogma after all these years of reading and searching that I'm closest with. And I believe that her faith in Christ was firm, and that through grace she is in heaven now, waiting for the second coming. So I have no doubt that I'll see her again. So that hasn't overweighed or heightened my depression more than usual. What's really been troubling me is thinking about the effect that suicide always has on the people around someone who takes their own life. Her husband, her 2 adult sons, her extended family, friends, everybody who loved her and cared about her. I don't think there's an answer. I mean, why does one person reach the decision that they're going to end their problems through death, and other people are able to struggle through? It's the same thing I've pondered for years, especially since my heart attack last year. Why do some people who are living vibrant, productive lives, why are they taken from us? And people like me who are limited in what they can do, who are somewhat cut off, homebound, just seem to keep on going. I don't think it's survivor's guilt. It's just I'm curious about God's plan. So one of the things that annoyed me most when I woke up after dying was I've always said when I get to heaven, the first thing I'm going to do is ask God what was the plan. But to people who are thinking about suicide, I would just say that I do understand where you're coming from. I've dealt with chronic pain for almost 2 decades now. It's brought on that and taking care of my mother for 9 years as she went through severe health problems. Brought on a lot of stress that they said has basically rewired my brain. I suffer from clinical depression now. Whenever I'm sent to somebody new, they always say I'm the most happy, depressed person they've ever met, but you probably can't tell from these videos. I'm a bit more reserved on them than you would see if you met me face to face. I'm basically sarcastic smart ass in real life, but it doesn't seem to come across in the videos completely. I just don't take things that seriously, and that's probably part of what's helped me. My faith has obviously helped me. It's the cornerstone. I have a basically stoic attitude toward life. I'm not well versed in Stoics, but I've read some of them and I understand the basics, and I always believe that it could be worse. You have to focus on what you have, be grateful for what you have, to not take it for granted. And that's added to me being able to deal with this. I've learned through my pain that, you can't focus on that. That will push you to the edge. You can't focus on, there are days where I'm not thinking about suicide, but I do think about would I be better off dead. But mostly it's apathy. It's just a loss of joy, a loss of interest in life, and you have to overcome that. The greatest gift that God has given us is grace, which is basically love. God so loved the world, He gave His only Son, that who should ever believeth in Him should not perish, but shall have eternal life. And that love we're to pass on, love thy neighbor as thyself. So to me, love, grace is the greatest gift that God has given us. But after that, a very close second, and I couldn't survive without it, is laughter. I just don't know how somebody can go through life without finding something to laugh at. I mean, to me, a day without laughter is a day not worth living. And that's what I fear, is people who reach this stage have lost the ability to laugh, to see the ridiculousness of their situation, of how fragile we are, how temporary this all is, and you don't need to rush it, and how just absolutely asinine as a collective we are, and even looking at our own lives, how ridiculous we can be at times. And so when they lose that, they not just losing the joy, but losing the ability to laugh, just find happiness, short moments of happiness. There's nothing that lifts my spirits more than being with somebody and seeing them smile, or hearing them, sharing a laugh with them. So if you are in physical, emotional, spiritual pain, I would evaluate where you're at as far as how grateful you are for what you have in your life. Don't focus on what you don't have or what's been taken from you, that you need to focus on what you do have. And I mean, I have been as much as over 650 pounds in my life. I've suffered from chronic pain for 20 years now. I flatlined 3 times. I died. And I still can't help but find things to laugh at. Life is just full of it. Just full of it. And so, take the focus off yourself. Take the focus off your problems. And put the focus on what you're grateful for. And laugh. Try and find things to laugh at. Even if it's your own situation. To people who have lost someone, I'm wrestling with that right now. I don't. I've heard some people get angry, and I have a bit of that because of what my friend did to her family and others. But mostly, I just feel sad, melancholy, empathetic to, if I'm feeling this much loss, what are the people closer to her husband, her sons, her sisters, the people in her family, people who've known her longer than me, what are they dealing with? And again, the same advice is helping me. I've been sitting here all day contemplating this and hadn't really meant to make a video, and I tried writing it out for my own. That's how I usually clear my mind, is to write something out. But today it just wasn't working, so I thought maybe I'd just sit down and freestyle, try and work it out in my own head. But again, people have lost someone, like I've lost my friend. I could focus on that she's gone. I could focus on the way that she went. Or I can remember the blessing that she was for approximately 9-10 years in my life, and the assurance I have that I'll be reunited with her again someday. And so, with my stoical outlook, I often contemplate that I may lose the people in my life. Maybe not to death. I've had friends drift apart, move away. The inability now to work has been a real struggle for me. I started working when I was 11 years old, and not having that purpose, not being able to interact with people, you can't focus on what's been stolen or taken or lost. I focus on the experiences that I now have when I do get to interact with people. They became more important to me. They're more precious to me. If I make it to church or to a Tuesday morning Bible study, if I meet somebody in the lobby sitting alone who needs somebody to talk to, or I meet a bunch of people on the bench in front of the building and get to sit to talk with them for a long period of time. I talk to my friends, they come over, our schedules, life gets more and more complicated as you get older, not simpler. So it's hard for us to get together, but when we do, it's a weird thing with my depression. The main side effect of my depression is apathy or lack of motivation. And then you couple that with my chronic pain. I don't know from day to day where I'm going to be at, which keeps things interesting. I mean, God has a kind of perverse sense of humor in keeping you, on your toes. And so we don't get together. We may plan to, and I'll be the weak link. Sometimes they're the weak link, but when we do, it's all that more precious to me. I make the most of it. I enjoy it more for the quality over the quantity I used to have of spending with my friends. We used to, see each other several times a week or weekends or spend weekends together. And so now it's different. But it's also better in a way. As my family, my home church, my church family, and that's where I met this friend, my brothers and sisters in Christ, our family. I truly enjoy, especially Bible studies, spending time with them, and it's not, all, let's look up verse such and such, and this. There's exchanging of ideas. There's ribbing each other. There's jokes. Okay, I'm the one who's the smartass, so class can get out of hand. But it's an enjoyable experience more than when I was young and I went to Bible study. I get more out of it, not because I progressed in my faith more or I understand things or believe things stronger, but because I appreciate that time more and the people that I'm spending that time with. So if you've lost somebody and you're feeling angry, I would say forgive. I don't hold grudges by nature. I find my life has been much easier since I lost my natural inclination toward anger as a young person. And if nothing else, with my friend passing, it just reaffirms that life's too short to hold grudges, to blame, to nurture that resentment and that feeling of betrayal or whatever you're feeling. Be glad for them that they found peace. Pray that they're in a better place if you're unsure of what their faith life was like. And start to focus on how blessed you were for whatever amount of time you had with them. If they meant something to you, then you should be grateful, not angry. And it's going to take time, but even last night at the visitation and today at the funeral, there was tears, but there was laughter, because already the memories, the fondness, the love was being shared. And so I know I'll reach that point where I'll be able to deal with this again, and I'll move forward. Right now, it's really pulled the rug out from underneath me, because I think it's hit very close to home. Us both dealing with chronic pain, us both dealing with emotional problems stemming from the pain. Something I haven't told a lot of people. Many people know that I'm getting some mental health care as far as depression and that, but my psychiatrist for quite a while now has been convinced that I should want to off myself. The quality of life I have right now should be more than I can deal with. Her experience with people with chronic pain is that many of them eventually try to end the pain. And maybe I'm just blessed that I haven't reached that point yet, but I don't think so, because there's days that I truly can't move, where the pain is so intense that I have to cancel things, or I can't go and do things I want. And the depression's there. It's not a it's not what you think of as, the world sucks, life sucks, woe is me, time for another pity party. I joke about that all the time when I can't make it out. No, I can't come today. I'm going to throw myself a pity party. But that's not it. It's just an inability on that day to overcome. But I know that because I'm aware of time and I'm aware of how I think, I'm blessed that I know my religious views, my worldview, philosophical view will eventually help me overcome that. And also my feelings of attachments and obligation to the people that I love. And I just can't imagine myself doing that to them. It's not in my nature, maybe. Or at least I flatter myself. Maybe it's hubris. But this is long and rambling. But I just wanted to say, mostly I wanted to try and get some things clear in my own head. But if you are hurting so badly that you are contemplating suicide, and I have been there, seek help. I mean, if you really truly feel you can't get past it on your own, do not hold it in. Make people feel guilty once you make a choice. It's not only going to affect you, it's going to affect everybody that you care about, everybody that you've come in contact with in your life that knows you, because it gets them to thinking. You're doing them a disservice, not only just harming them, but by planting that thought in their head. So if it's not psychological help, get ministerial help, or if there's somebody you truly trust, a family member, a friend, they might feel uncomfortable with it, and that might not work, but they may be able to help you with finding somebody who can help you. Some people medication helps, some people therapy helps. With me, it's laughter and a worldview and my faith. If you've lost somebody, don't blame yourself. We are all responsible for the actions we take in life, not for the actions that other people take. And you may never know. Nobody saw this coming. They knew she was in pain, that she was being treated, but they didn't know how far all of it combined had reached. And it, in the end, boils down to a choice that one person made that affected everybody who knew her and some who didn't. I mean, suicides don't just happen and then clean up themselves. You are affecting the lives of people you don't even know. So if you're dealing with something like that, having been through something like that, and you need help, reach out. I've been very happy that my friend's husband, who's also my friend obviously, has felt free to call me. We've talked quite a few times since this happened. We're planning on getting together after he gets his life in the next week, gets back to work and gets some structure into his life again. And so even there, I've lost one friend, but I've gained the opportunity to be there for another friend and to strengthen that friendship and to help somebody that I care about, I hope. I pray. So what it boils down to is, I guess, basically don't think you have all the answers. Seek help, wiser help than me, whether you're thinking of suicide or you've lost somebody to suicide. And I would ask that you keep my friend's husband and sons and her family and friends who loved her in your prayers. And just remember that whatever actions in life that you take have consequences far beyond yourself. And no matter how bad you're hurting, if you truly love the people in your life, you'll take those consequences into consideration when you're weighing the pros and cons of the choice you're thinking about. Anyhow, like I said, I didn't mean to go on so long, and I know this is not a video that a lot of people are going to see, but I wanted to make it so I could link it to my Facebook page for my family and friends, just to let them know how much I've appreciated them through the years, helping me through my problems. They are part of what keeps me going. I don't want them to feel overburdened. I mean, it is a combination of my faith and the blessings God's given me as far as my sense of humor, my philosophical views, and the wonderful people from my family and my friends to the healthcare providers I'm dealing with, to just the people in my building, the people that I run into. You know, if you reach out and make human contact, it takes the focus off of yourself. So if you're really hurting, trust me, there's people hurting more that are struggling with the same thing. And if you're aware of that, it lessens the burden for you. It puts it in perspective. And I pray that in the end you would spare the people that you care about the pain that we're all going through right now. Anyway, thank you for listening. Stay safe, be well, and as always, God bless. Thank you.